Hey everyone, I'm Kim Reveil, founder of Young Media Atlanta, and today is our 1-year anniversary event and panel. I am so excited for today, and I'm so excited for all of the great wisdom that our panelists are going to share. We have Kels from Hits 92.3, Stefan Williams from Stefan X Studios, Tahati Burgess, a creative marketing strategist, and Aaliyah Foss, who is also a marketing and media strategist. So I'm so excited to hear what they have to share, and again, for the event, to meet everyone who's coming and to commemorate our 1 year. So Kels, if you would start.
Hi, my name is Kels, owner of Hits 92.3 radio station. I also MC, host different events, karaoke night, ladies night, brunch on Sundays, music bingo, anything you can think of. Tomorrow I have to do a hair battle show. So yeah, I like hosting. That's what I do.
Hi, good afternoon, y'all. My name is Stefan Williams. I own Stefan X Studios. It's a photography studio based out in Doraville, Georgia. I'm also a photographer. I've been doing that for 10 years. I focus mainly on fashion, editorial, and beauty photography.
Hello, my name is Tahati Burgess. I'm a freelance digital marketing as well as artist manager. I assist mainly Christian and R&B artists with creating stories and narratives around their project to take you from point A to point B and take you on a journey. So it's not just a musical project, it's a soundtrack to the season of your life.
Hey everybody, my name is Aaliyah Faust. I'm the CEO of Hazelview Media. We are a boutique marketing agency that specializes in brand and talent development, copy editing, marketing, of course, branding, and all that good stuff.
Awesome. Wonderful. So we're going to get started with you, Kels. You built a full media platform from the ground up. Congratulations. When traditional funding wasn't accessible, what did you create, trade, or repurpose to keep building momentum?
Barter, barter, barter. For graphics and print, we might have a show that wants a show, and in exchange, they do our graphic and print for us. We find the biggest socialites in Atlanta to have a show with us that builds our listenership. So I've encouraged bartering a lot. So if you don't have the money, the next person might not have the money either. Y'all team up together and you make it work.
That's excellent. That's excellent. And Aaliyah, what unconventional paths or relationships helped you secure resources to launch and sustain your media brand?
Oh, that is a great question. So I'm not afraid to ask for anything. And you gotta use your network. Like when you're at events like this, I know Sam upstairs through somebody else, and just staying connected and things like that. So unconventional, just being in front of people, talking to people, letting them know what I do. And not just being a user, but actually get to know them and create a real relationship too.
Yeah.
Because that matters as well. That's actually the most important part of all that. But I think that is the most unconventional way, because you just never really know who you're going to come across. I moved to Atlanta almost 2 years ago, literally not knowing anybody here. And now I have a whole community of people from just talking to people. And that is very unconventional for me.
So a little backstory about how Aaliyah and I met. We met at a networking event, and we just randomly started talking. Again, talking for both of us is kind of because we're both naturally quiet. But she's the reason that we got this space, because she knows Sam. And I was like, if I don't get a space by September and I need it to be sponsored possibly, then we're just not going to have the event. And she was like, I know somebody. So when you know people who know people, you get what you need. So Tahati, this is for you. For young media founders starting with limited capital, what's the first revenue stream you recommend building before seeking outside funding?
Okay, so now this is going to sound unconventional because it is. I would say the best revenue stream that you can build is your creativity. Utilize what you have. And a lot of times I feel like we as people, especially as African Americans, kind of underestimate the resources that we have. God gave you the vision for a reason, and you can bring it to life. One thing that you heard earlier in this conversation is to barter. Utilize your network. Utilize your community. One thing that one of my mentors said to me is that when you approach people, you approach situations, approach it with what you can do for it, not what it can do for you. Mm-hmm. So utilize the things in which you can offer and find a way to make them work for you to get what you need. One of the things that Kel said earlier in the conversation is barter, 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 and that is your biggest strength. Connection opportunity, being able to sow into somebody else's life, sow into their vision, sow into their need will often help you get the resources that you need. So to me, the best revenue source to start with is within yourself. Find what you have to offer and be creative with finding a solution to your problem.
That's so good. And Stefan, keeping in the vein of finances, let us know, okay, creative businesses often grow faster than their cash flow, right? So how do you decide what to invest in, or when to invest in gear and people and marketing versus when to hold back and bootstrap?
So what's funny is, prior to, I'd have been like, investing your gear and your creativity first as you're going, and then build everything up. But now that I've done that, don't do that. I would say if you have to bootstrap, really invest in education and understanding financial literacy and how to make what you have stretch. I feel like once you figure out how to make a dollar stretch longer than a week, a day, or a month, you'll then be able to know how to budget and where to put your money in later on. See where money's coming in, where money is going out faster and not bringing in a good enough return, and then focus on the sources or the streams that's bringing in the most money.
Just work smarter, not harder.
Basically.
Period. This next question is going to be for you too. So in your journey from creative talent to entrepreneur, you likely had to pivot roles and business models, yeah? So can you share a time where you pivoted in business, what triggered the pivot, and what was a lesson?
Okay, so opening a studio was a dream of mine as far as like when I first got my photography business. That's what triggered the pivot. As far as the challenges, you said challenges I faced, right?
Sure.
Yeah, challenges I faced was not knowing what that role entailed and how to switch back into being a photographer and not just a studio owner. Like you may open a space and you think, yo, people are gonna come in cash over foot, right? Wrong. Sometimes they know you for what you're good at, not what you're trying to do. So I had to continue to push what I was good at to fund what I'm trying to do, and then get them both on the same level, and then pivot more time to push the studio further. Did I answer the question? I feel close.
That was good. That was good to me. Kels, I'm going to ask you something. So we were talking about pivoting upstairs. Yes. Can you share what you shared with me first, and then I'll answer the question?
Yes.
How you're pivoting in your business right now.
So I'll just briefly, when we opened almost 7 years ago, we started in 700 square feet. Within 2 months, I quit my job and was thinking, we can get more shows if I run the station in the morning instead of just at night. So I quit my job within 2 months. We grew into 1,700 square feet. Last year, into year before last, we grew into 3,500 square feet. And my brain was bigger than the brand. So that was too big. We weren't ready for that. We went back down to 1,700. So the pivot now, in the 1,700 square feet that we had rooms for, you can use it for a conference room, you can use it for podcasting, just media, photography, all these different rooms. And so I thought about it. What rooms are making the most money? The photography media room wasn't making as much money as the conference room. Conference room wasn't making as much money as this. So figure out what works and what doesn't. And because some of those rooms didn't work, we just pivoted again into a smaller space this weekend that just passed. So I kept the services that works well and is going to bring me more money because I'm focusing there, and got rid of everything else. So sometimes you have to what am I trying to say? I'm not going to say downgrade because that's not the word I'm looking for.
Downsize.
Downsize. Sometimes you have to downsize so that you can make more money. Now my focus isn't into putting marketing in to make sure that this room works. Putting furniture into this room to make sure this room works. Take all of that away and put all of your money into media, into radio, and that seems to be what's working the best for us. Podcasting has taken over, no matter what people say with radio, and sometimes the pivot has to be merging the two. So I can't say exactly what we're doing, but the fire starts something. Switching up a little bit.
And can you talk a little bit about not being ashamed to downsize? Because as entrepreneurs and people who are freelancers or just doing things on their own, I think sometimes when you have this big vision and you're doing it big and then you have to scale back. It's like, dang, what are they going to say? What are they going to think?
Yeah.
So can you talk to us about that?
So if anybody knows Kels, I'm very transparent. I'm transparent on all social media platforms. Atlanta has this saying, you fake it till you make it. I'm not big on the fake it till you make it. I am on social media like, y'all, we barely paid the rent this month. And I get inboxes like, girl, me too. What did you do? So I feel like the more transparent you are, the more real you are, people start to buy into your brand and you go a whole lot further building true, genuine, authentic relationships.
That's great. And for anyone on the panel, what was your hardest pivot? Just passing it down the line.
I'd say my hardest pivot was managing an artist from the ground up, getting a substantial following. We reached like, I want to say 100,000 monthly listeners on Spotify, and they just decided they don't want to be artists anymore. I moved from Connecticut here for that purpose, and it was an interesting pivot, but I think the biggest thing for me is understanding and remembering that the same God of the mountaintop is the same God in the valley. It's understanding and viewing God as not only a savior, but also a shepherd, and allowing him to lead you through it. I think when it comes to business, entrepreneurship, it's all about your faith. You can't care about what other people are going to say. You can't care about what other people are going to think because you're not here for other people. He says, I know the plans that I have for you, plans to prosper you and not harm you. So stay locked into your faith. Stay locked into the vision that God gave you. If he told you it, it's going to come to pass. And understand that you may not get it now, but later on you will. So
That's so good. And I have a follow-up for you. So you moved here from Connecticut. There are a lot of people who are not Atlanta natives in here. What would you say to someone who was trying to build credibility and who was trying to find funding while doing the two?
Again, and this is going, you're going to hear me say it a lot because this is really my testimony. Utilize your network. And then be a good steward. When you get opportunities, steward them well. 99.9% of the work that I've had has come from word of mouth by people that I know. And so when you do good work, when you display good character, when you meet your deadlines, when you handle the gifts that God has given you and opportunities He's given you well, the doors, it'll keep flowing. When you're faithful over few, He'll make you rule over many. So
That's awesome. I want one more person to answer the pivot question about what was their hardest pivot. Or both of you can.
First of all, amen.
Amen.
But I think you said hardest pivot?
Yes.
My hardest pivot was from actual media going into marketing, because I came into it at a time, I got into media at a time, like 2010, where things were just switching over. So like the older people who are already secure and solid in their positions didn't really know how to work a camera, how to work social media. So it's kind of like, I guess, an anomaly at the time. But in that was kind of digital marketing before anybody ever called it that. So I started just getting calls for marketing positions, and I kind of didn't feel qualified, but it was just one big one that I just couldn't turn down at one point. So I took it, but that was like a huge pivot because I should be looking at y'all, because I just stepped away from everything that I knew in media, and like most of my career at that time had been in media, from radio to newspapers, TV, magazines, stuff like that. So when I got into this marketing position, it wasn't even like gradual, it was just director of marketing. It was kind of like imposter syndrome. So I would say that was the hardest pivot, but I think somebody up here earlier, you said, just like investing in education. That was something I did as soon as I got that job, because I also didn't want to embarrass myself, but that was a big pivot.
And I think my hardest pivot, well, actually, I know my hardest pivot was just accepting help. You know, as someone who's always, as a photographer, the creative director, you're bringing in the team, and you have to go use your resources to find everyone else, right? So like for me, it was stepping back and saying, okay, who can I fall back on? You know, who can I ask for help? And like swallowing, I guess, the pride that I had to ask for help and just allow the community that I built over the years to actually want to support me the way that I needed it at the time. And I know that sounds crazy because everyone's like, you know, build your community, things like that. But, you know, in some instances, like as you're an entrepreneur, you do feel like you're a lone wolf all the time. So it's good just to, like I said, fall back and know when to switch roles from being the lone wolf to someone in the pack.
That's so good. I want to ask Aaliyah one more time. what's something that you wish you knew earlier? Because you talked about pivoting, and I know you didn't really go into depth about all the different roles that you held in media, but she has a range of experience. So what's something that you wished you knew earlier in your media career that you think would have helped you to get along further or be more confident sooner?
I don't think that applies to me. I think I don't know, by the grace of God, like my media career was fast tracked. I think because of that anomaly thing, like back in 2010. I think that kind of more so applies to me on the marketing side. Hold on, because I want to answer it. I want to make it work. What do I think? What do I wish I knew earlier? I don't know.
Okay,
can't
well,
say.
let me ask you a follow-up.
Okay.
And then anyone on the panel can answer after she answers. How do you see your faith, your purpose, and media entrepreneurship merging and playing out in your business in the future?
Okay. Well, so my faith drives most of what I do. That is a great question. So now here's another pivot. So back in like that 2010 era, I had actually stepped away from all media because it had turned into just gossip. And I come from that just generation of the art of journalism. I was just talking upstairs about that. And like the actual news reporting, the actual writing, the research. When you're interviewing people and you're talking with them, actually talking about what they have come into the room to talk about, like not about who they're getting married to and stuff like that. So it was at one point where I just walked away from it all. And I went back to school for, what was it, optometry. But then I was sitting in the
What's
midterm.
It's math?
Eyes.
Oh, sorry. Oh, optometry. I thought you said autonomy or something. I was like, what? Optometry, I know what optometry is. Sorry.
So, no, I was literally sitting in a midterm and I was like, I can't do this. And it just happened to be in a season where my pastor had, well, he was my mom's pastor. He had challenged everybody to just read the Bible in a year. And I did. And I was like, just asking God, this gift that I have, like writing, editing, storytelling, just how can I, like, what do I do with that? Because I don't want to do this anymore. And I just started like my own blog, and it was Christian R&B at the time. It was about that type of music. So I was like, I don't really want to focus on this anymore because it's not what it was. So let me just like find something that has sparked my interest. And it was that. And that's how like these other marketing positions and marketing, even though I was doing media, but the marketing stuff kept coming to me from the music industry. And I really had to, I forgot where I was going with it. What's the question again?
How do you see your faith, purpose, and media entrepreneurship intersecting now and as you continue to build?
Yeah. So basically that is how it intersected. Because I asked God, how can I use my gifts for you? And ever since I did that, pretty much everything I've done since then, especially career-wise, has been rooted in faith. So from Christian radio to my Christian media platform at the time, to working at a Christian music label, to partnering with mainstream artists who wanted to work with Christian artists or who just wanted to release gospel songs. So it's kind of a blessing that I was able to still do what I loved, the root of what I loved, and tie it to the root of who I was in faith and who God called me to be. So it really does drive everything. And it's really good to know that I can be in spaces like this and talk about it too, and like not be ashamed of it. Because if you know me, like, you know God first.
Yeah. That's so good. So I want to ask one final question to everyone on the panel. Since you have the mic, you can keep it. So as we look ahead into 2026, because we're almost there, what is one bold move you'd like to make for 2026? And what's the first step you would take to get there? I see you guys snickering. You guys already talked about that before.
Yes. So I need everybody in the room to mark your calendars for April 21st. So one bold thing I'm doing through my media company now, Hazelview Media, actually also host events. So there's marketing, but then there's still my passion for the music side outside of the talent and brand management that I do. And basically we just host events to give people a platform, to share their music, talk about faith, talk about wellness. That's another thing near and dear to my heart. I have a nonprofit, so I'm bringing the two together. And we are going to have it's called Pathfinder Music Honors. Never done anything like that before, but that is a big 2026.
Music honors, so it's like an award show?
Yes.
Nice.
Christian hip hop and R&B. So it'll be here in Atlanta. But that's probably the biggest thing I've ever put on
That's
for
exciting.
2026.
I want to answer last. Give me some time to pray. See God.
So what's funny is I think my biggest move, we were talking about it earlier, is like I said it earlier on Threads, I was like, I want to infuse like $1 million into the creative industry, basically. I don't even got $1 million, but that is something that I want to do. I want to create jobs that will create more opportunities for photographers, videographers, makeup artists, hairstylists, just creative entrepreneurs in the Atlanta area, because I see a problem and I see the results or the effects of this recession going on, especially in the creative community. And I said, well, if there's anything that I can do, I have this space, I have this gift. How can I create more for others? And that's something I want to do. I'm not going to do it within a year, but I'm going to start next year.
That's awesome.
Focus more on community. So I spent most of 2024 building my brand within Douglas County. I was hosted in every restaurant in Douglas County. So anything we need, we can get it from there. I want to do the same thing with East Point area and try to merge those two areas together. Instead of just being in studio all the time, everything is online. People don't talk to each other anymore. You meet people online. You see them in the street. You think you know them, but you don't. So we want to build more community. That's
awesome.
for what the plan is for 2026.
Awesome. Want to answer now?
I got a couple things I had to figure out which one I wanted to share.
Okay.
Next year, a goal of mine is to start a legitimate marketing agency. I've been doing it freelance for the last 10 years, and I kind of want to help some other people learn the trade of the game. I also feel like people say that this generation doesn't have any superstars. I completely disagree with that. I think we don't have the ecosystem to develop artists into superstars, so I want to work to fix that as well. That's a little bit of what I want to do next year.
Okay, very exciting. So we're going to open the floor to questions from the audience, if anyone has any questions. I have one. How do you guys avoid burnout?
Recently, I started taking up golfing, and I wanted to teach myself how to paint following Bob Ross tutorials. So, which way?
I think the key to creativity is living life. So touching grass, figure out what's going on in your community, go connect with nature, just finding different hobbies to kind of, one, keep my perspective fresh, keep my mind at ease, and to be able to draw inspiration from and through it all.
So I had to experience burnout to understand it and then to know what not to do. But once I did burn out and I had to bounce back, I started just putting me first in the morning. So part of my morning routine, I know people like call me crazy because I wake up every day except Sunday at 4 a.m. But I also go to bed between like 9 and 10. I try to. And I really just spend that time in prayer, studying, and then maybe a half hour reading, maybe a half hour just like walking or doing something with my dog and then working out. So I spend about 3 hours before my day gets started, just like on me, just to like fill myself up. And then I'm not rushing throughout the day like I used to. Because if you really think about it, if you slow down a little bit, nothing changes. Right. Like that's all in our heads for real. So just taking that time for myself in the morning. And if it don't get done, like I've noticed that nothing else changes. So just taking time.
I feel like you get what you put out. So if you're burnt out, your hands are probably in too many pots. You're probably trying to do too much at one time. And like I said, we scaled back on all these other services because I was getting burnt out. I was like, December 31st, 2025, I'm finding something else to do. I'm going into real estate. And then I get a call for a gig in Dallas, Texas. They're going to pay me every week to come out there once a week. So that gives me the boost to get back in it. So focus. When you get burnt out, think about what's not working. Don't try to keep that going, because if it's not working, it's just not working. I always say don't close down. You got other options. Downsize, barter, get more help. There's so many ways not to get burnt out. Again, you put in what you put out. So if you aren't working hard enough, your business will fail. I got comfortable. I was making the money I wanted to make, and I was like, cool. And then you get comfortable, and everybody else around you gets comfortable. Your team gets comfortable. You're not looking for new business because you're comfortable. So don't get comfortable. Don't get comfortable. Downsize if you need to. Focus in the areas that you need to focus in. If you don't have the money to get more help, barter.
So good. Any other questions? Go ahead.
So, I can tell from how you guys have been discussing, pretty much very faith-based within it. The Word of God talks about the love of money being the root of all evil. So, as being entrepreneurs, as business owners, as people that day to day you gotta make money, how do you balance between chasing those opportunities and trying to make money without it becoming a love or like being super centered to where it becomes an idol, and still doing using the gifts that God gave you to give away? So how do you, as faith-based entrepreneurs and business owners, balance between still making sure the lights stay on, but also balancing that with your faith?
Go first on that.
Sure.
All right, so I haven't shared this like publicly at all. God will make a way for your dreams to shine through no matter the times that you're in. Last year when I opened my studio, literally every 20th through 26th of the month, my account was empty the entire month. Rent's due on the 1st. Somehow between the 26th to 30th, I got rent money. And that happened every single month for 7 months straight.
Wow.
That's stressful to someone who just got married. You got all these different bills, but God will make a way for your dreams to shine through, no matter what you're going through. So to answer your question, when you say, how do you not let it be something that you chase, pray before every opportunity. And if you feel like it requires more than what you're giving, like you have to sell yourself or give yourself short, it's not an opportunity for you, because God's not going to want you to compromise or grind. Like, there is a sermon that this pastor talked about. God, he's Mike Todd talked about, right? The only time you talk about grinding or like grinding in the Bible is when Samson lost his strength and he had to grind in the pillar of salt. So like when you're doing the gifts that God is giving you, you shouldn't have to burn yourself down to make a couple dollars, because God will provide it for you. He provides for the birds, the trees, and everything else. So what makes you think he won't provide for you without you selling yourself short?
So good.
Well, you just said it all. The only thing I would just add to that is tithing. Not because your pastor said so, not because your mom told you to, but literally because everything that we have comes from the Lord. So just giving him back what's already his. And I think for me, it's what humbles me, but it also just puts into my mind, like, first things first. Like, I just got a check today. First thing I did was I didn't pay no bills. Like, I just took that straight to where I get fed from spiritually. So I would say tithing, because I think when you go through that motion as well, it kind of just reminds you of where your help does come from. And same boat, I got laid off in February. So like you said, I still haven't found a job. But I mean, I have my company and I do other things as well. But like you said, when the stuff is due, money returns to the account. And like clients come and he's always on time. So again, just like praying first too, or not. Well, yeah, first, but just praying about it, seeking God, like not just taking every opportunity. That's one thing I don't do. Like, I don't just take opportunities just because they come and just because I might need money, but I really make sure it's aligned as well. So.
Agreed. I think my answer would echo what both of them said. I think it's really about stewardship and discernment. One, you have to make sure that your heart is in alignment with God's will. It's not what you do, it's how you do it. So they're like you asked about seeking money, and what they're pretty much speaking about is like they're just trying to hustle to meet the bottom line to an extent. So just making sure you kind of stay low. The world kind of pushes this narrative. You need more. You need more. You need more. As a business owner as well, like you do want to meet certain goals, meet certain expectations. But okay, now when you meet these goals, these expectations, how are you giving back to your community? How are you giving back to those less fortunate? How are you sowing? How are you being an abundance and a blessing to others with the seeds in which the God's giving you? So I think, again, it's not what you do, it's how you do it. So being a good steward over the gifts and the blessing that he gives you also plays a part in that.
Piggyback off of what he said too, the connections that you build. Build the right connections, get in the right rooms, talk to the right people, pay it forward. For instance, like I can't be everywhere at once. I have a lot of people that support me and want that same support back, but I'm one person versus all of these other people. So if someone has a show and I can't go, the tickets are $20. I might pay $100 and buy 4 tickets so they can, give it to somebody. So just build the right connections, because sometimes the money's not there. But if you have the right people on your team, you got the right people that you can make a call to. Like I have so many people, like when things happen, they just show up. I don't have to ask for it. It's because of the relationships that I built.
So good.
Can I add one more
Sure.
thing to that? It just came on my heart from what you were talking about, stewardship. The Bible talks a lot about finances in so many different ways. But one thing that sticks out to me is Joseph, when he went to Egypt, when he was sold there, and he was, I guess, the second in command under the Pharaoh, right? They talked about 7 years of prosperity and 7 years of famine. Throughout the year, we have 12 months. Consider those your years, right? We're gonna have some months where we're doing great and some months where we're doing bad. How much are you stowing away on the months that you're not doing bad? And that's one lesson that it took me 3 years to actually learn. I ain't gonna cap with you. I was terrible with money, but once you get it, have your money set aside. 3 months in an account over here, 1 month for monthly operations, and then something for a year to 5 years later on that you just add into, So.
Yes, one more.
Just something that he said, like of storing money. Just an instance that happened a couple of months ago. So we had to pay the rent, and we had all this different stuff going on. I had stuff in my personal life going on. So I was like, dang, it's a $300 late fee if you pay the rent late. So I was like, we ain't got the money. We ain't got it. One of my tenants was going out of the country for a couple of months, and she asked could she pay a couple of months in advance. Why did that pay the exact amount that we needed for the rent? So stuff like that. Like, you just never know what's going to happen. Favor is, when I have so many things, I'm telling you, like, I don't know how it happens. It just happens. And that was literally the biggest thing. There's always a something that's going to happen in my life to be like, okay, I'm doing the right thing. I'm in the right place. So that can happen too. So just off of what you said, prepare for the unexpected. Big time.
So good. Well, thank you guys again. Can we clap it up for our panelists? This was amazing. Thank you guys. I really, again, appreciate it. I love everything that you all said. I just knew that y'all was going to give all that we needed. Okay, so we got entrepreneurship, we got business, we got faith. You have a question?
Yeah, I want to say something if I can.
Sure.
It's really quick.
Go ahead.
All right, I stand because I've been in this since I was 15. My name is Joseph. I'm from Miami. My wife's here from Atlanta. We own media company, all that stuff. I work for every big media company you can think of. You name it, out there. I just want to say, like, the conversation you guys had today, I'm so proud. I don't know you guys at all, but I'm just so proud because sometimes your goal is to get to these rooms that you see everyone else in. And I'm used to always being the youngest in that room, right? And then they don't have these conversations, right? They're not going to give you community or the game like you guys are giving each other. So I just want to say this is an amazing thing that you guys are doing, amazing group. And the community starts here. Like you guys having the community, it starts right now, right? Open gate. Like my goal in life is always getting the door and open it for the people. Same people say get in the door, the same people close it when you get into these rooms. So when your goal and what you guys doing is opening that door for everybody. So I'm just proud. I was in here just like smiling. So you guys are just amazing. So thank you guys.
Oh, thank you.
And can I say something too?
Sure.
So with me owning a radio station, My very first show was on her radio station, Highly Unique Radio. Yeah,
So cool. Full circle moment.
full circle moment. Yeah.
Awesome. We just want to give another round of applause for yourselves and for our panelists. Wow, what a time. Tonight was amazing. Thank you to everyone who came out, and thank you again to our panelists. They shared amazing wealth of wisdom, which I knew they would. You can find the full recording to our panel discussion at Young Media Atlanta on YouTube, and you can follow us on socials, all socials, at Young Media Atlanta. And don't forget to subscribe to our newsletter where you can get all of our information first. Thank you again.